Hi everyone, Jedediah Thomas, the Mind Master here. Today I wanted to talk about what is the subconscious. Be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content on the mind, the subconscious mind, traumas, limiting beliefs, motivation, and everything around that. So, the subconscious is an extremely powerful part of who we are. It is 90% of who we think we are, controls 90% of your life, how you see the world, how you see yourself. It controls the majority of your decision making. And it also has a lot of important functions in how you operate. So it is where your imagination is stored. It is where your emotions are stored. It is where your beliefs are stored, your model of reality, how you see the world. It's where your memories are stored. And believe it or not, it does actually have infinite or near infinite storage, as you know, as far as we can tell. It can remember pretty much anything that you've ever experienced with any sense ever. It's an incredibly powerful thing, and it also acts as a massive calculator. So your subconscious is really the universe's most powerful computer, and what it does is it takes input from the outside, your senses, memories that come across in the past, and experiences and beliefs, and it runs equations. And basically, whatever is the output of that equation is the decision that you make, or how your life pans out. Now, if you look at the mind scale here, the most important thing that um, is contained in the subconscious as far as holding you back is going to be your emotions and your beliefs. Now, most people operate on, helping you with your emotional level, but I actually operate on the belief level, and that's quite a bit deeper than what you've probably come across before. So, with all of the functions of the subconscious mind, it's what it's trying to do is help you survive, right? It's geared towards survival on an evolutionary scale, protect you from danger, moving you towards, pleasurable things that could potentially help you survive. The issue is that it's not very smart. It's not capable of complex thoughts. It's not capable of understanding big concepts. And because of that, it has a tendency to ignore facts that are right in front of it, right? So if you see something happening, right? Let's say a whale is flying in front of you. Now, according to your model of reality, that's impossible, right? You don't believe it's possible. And so it will ignore that that happened, even though it happened, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's something that happens all the time, but it's an example of you can be looking at something directly, you can be processing it, you can even agree to it intellectually, and your subconscious will reject it if you have beliefs around that. And that's kind of like an extreme example, but it plays out in every single part of our lives, right? If we don't believe that it's possible to make $100,000 in a year, we won't even try, right? Like it's not even on our radar that that's possible. So we would go work at a low end job, maybe McDonald's or something, and even though we see people around us making that amount of money and more, we don't believe it's possible. We think that the only way that they could have acquired that money is through inheritance, and that's actually not true, right? If you look at the data, it's usually people who make that amount of money, and then there's people who make millions a year, and there's people who make billions. So the point is that your subconscious controls everything about you and your world and your reality. So if there's an area of your life, such as money or relationships or business or sales or whatever, that is not where you want it to be, it's probably because you have limiting beliefs. Could have traumas, but it means that you don't believe that it's possible for you to do whatever you need to do to improve in that area, or you don't believe it's possible to have the results from doing the work in that area of your life. So your subconscious really absolutely controls everything about your life. And a lot of people don't know that it exists, right? They think that their conscious mind is who they are, and it's not. And we live in a time where more and more people are becoming aware of the subconscious, but they don't really know how it works. So all they really know about is the thought level. All they really know about is the emotional level, and deeply ingrained thoughts, which they think are beliefs, are actually not. And so that's all they have to work with. So people will go to therapy and talk about their thoughts or their feelings. People will do different things to relieve their emotions, but it doesn't actually really powerfully change their life because they're not going deep enough to that belief level. Now, the work that I do is it's kind of interesting because what I do is like it's not magical or spectacular in any way. It's basically the effective delivery of common sense to the subconscious, right? So you know how I said like you can see something and you can consciously acknowledge it, but your subconscious doesn't believe it, right? And that's where you get like imposter syndrome, you get all of these self-doubts and uncertainties because consciously you know you're achieving a lot, consciously you know that you're successful or that you've earned your place, and your subconscious still doesn't believe it. Part of you is stuck in a different time in your life where you didn't have all of those things, and it's refusing to actually catch up to reality, basically. So what I do is basically deliver the new reality to the subconscious and catch it back up to the external world so that you actually truly believe that you're worthy and that you've earned everything, and you know that you are making that amount of money. And it's unbelievable how powerful it is, right? But and instantaneous it is, because like you can consciously acknowledge that, okay, I make $100,000 a year or however much you make, right? And your subconscious believes I'm poor, right? So even though you're making a lot of money, you'll still make the decisions of a poor person. You'll spend it all. You'll, not have any money saved up. You'll still be living paycheck to paycheck, whatever it is, however it manifests into the real world, because you still believe that you're poor. And so what I would do is get your subconscious to acknowledge the fact that you are making a lot of money. And then your decisions become different, your thoughts become different, your actions become different. And now you're actually able to not only enjoy the amount of money that you have or that you're making, but you can also make more, right? So it's catching it up to reality. And how this plays out very frequently is you see people who are lottery winners, right? They win tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. And within a couple of years, they've not only spent all of the money, but they're in worse shape than they were before they started, because they have beliefs around poverty, they have beliefs around their own self-worth, their own place in the world. All of that slingshots them back to a lower place, even though they had the money to be able to get out of their situation, right? So that's an example of how the subconscious will pull you back into a previous time, even though your external circumstances are different, right? So what I would do is go in and I would actually make your subconscious believe that you are wealthy, that you have that amount of money, and then instantly your mind changes, you actually become a wealthy person. And let's say you didn't win the lottery, but you now start taking the actions of a wealthy person, and then you can get that amount of money yourself, right? So it's basically changing the inside, and that then spreads out and changes the outside as well, ultimately leading to a better lifestyle. So I could go on and on about the subconscious. It's really a really powerful thing. There are a lot of you know people that are becoming aware of it. Hypnotherapists and different stuff, especially, are operating on that forefront. But it's probably different than what you've heard about it, and it is comprised of the emotional and the belief level in terms of structure. And then the functions it performs, of course, are imagination, memory, calculating different things, and also, putting out the emotion there. So, hopefully all that makes sense. If you have specific questions about the subconscious, definitely drop it in the comments, because it's a topic I could just talk about forever. So if you have any specific questions about, what it is, how it works, anything around that, why it's important, definitely drop it. I'll make videos on that because it is, space is considered the final frontier, but the reality is that our mind is just as or more infinite than space. And so, how deep you go down the rabbit hole is entirely up to you. And that's kind of an overview of some of the important parts. So stay tuned for more content. I will be launching a group, the Initiates of the Mysteries of the Mind. So look forward to that. I'll make an announcement on that probably on the State of the Onion address when I launch that or leading up to it. And just, see you on the channel. All right. Bye.